I'm in grade 9 contemporary art at ESA. I'm going to talk about growing up. Everybody has a different relationship with growing up. People let it affect them more than others, and people hold on to it more than others. I see growing up as almost solely a loss, probably because I grew up in such a loving family. I experience it like a series of small losses. So all the objects and all the things in my life, like Christmas, when Christmas wasn't Christmas anymore, and when I couldn't be consumed by playing with dolls for hours and hours on end, like all of these things that made up my life and made up who I was, like they weren't important anymore and they slowly fell away. And when I lost these things, they created an emptiness in me because I wasn't just losing the object, I wasn't just losing not wanting to play with dolls anymore, I was losing pieces of myself because these things were what filled me, they made me the person I was. And I can't speak for everyone, but like I said before, this fits with this too. Emptiness, everyone has a different relationship with emptiness. I think though that human nature is when emptiness arises in someone's life is to fill it, so they don't have to feel it, so they don't have to wallow in it. But I wallow in emptiness. I let myself be consumed by it because it's all that's left of what's gone. So, yeah, I wallow in it. Like, this isn't or wasn't a conscious choice. It's just how I handled emptiness, it's just how I handled growing up, and I've tried my entire life to prevent growing up. I've held on to every last bit that I possibly could. My art is the physical emptiness of these little losses. So what I did is I took objects in my life that held a great amount of significance in my childhood, and I poured plaster over them, creating blocks, creating molds. And the plaster dried and it took the shape of the objects. I then removed the objects and all that's left was the space. So the objects themselves are my childhood and the blocks are the parts of my childhood I don't have anymore and I couldn't hold on to. So the blocks are the emptiness. All that's left is the space that that object took up. In order to make the molds successful, the objects had to be destroyed. So in order to create the physical emptiness, I had to create the physical loss. This is my process. Yeah. So why I use plaster? I use plaster because plaster's a protector. You coat walls with it. It's casts, like physical arm casts. It holds broken bones together until they heal. It fixes damages surfaces. Like this is me protecting my emptiness. I think that everybody mourns the loss of their childhood in different ways. Whether you're mourning the loss of something you never had, whether you're mourning the loss of how fast it ended, or like me, whether you're mourning the loss of it slowly disintegrating. I see this loss in my peers and in my friends. Like, if you just think about teenagers and the way they behave, we're portrayed to have this, bitterness towards the world. We're overly emotional and unpredictable, and all these things are true, but they're true because we're mourning this loss. We're suddenly supposed to have responsibility and purpose, but how are we supposed to have purpose if everything that gave us purpose and everything that built up our life is gone? And we're expected to live, and we're expected to just go on and work into this society. And I think that because this loss is so universally felt, and it's so present, that people don't let themselves feel it, and people don't give it time. And I just think, imagine how different everything would be if you could give this time and you could mourn it, and you didn't have to hold on to it, and you didn't have to make it become a part of your identity like I did, and you could just move into the next person and with grace and with love for who you used to be, and that's how you could exist. And I wallow in emptiness. I let it become me. The emptiness of these objects, the emptiness of my childhood took up physical space inside me. It prevented me from growing and loving and making this work. I forgot to flip this on. Making this work, it holds on to my emptiness for me. My emptiness doesn't exist inside me anymore because it exists here. I've given myself room to grow and I've given myself room to love. My work may seem sad and it may seem like a loss, but that's because it is. It is a physical loss, it is physical emptiness. But because of it, I'm not sad and I can live now and I can love and I can grow. And thank you.